Yo siento que el de adelante tiene miedo, parece. ¡Tiene miedo! Que si tienes miedo, te toca un dominicano atrás, papá. Nosotros vamos a tener 30 minutos de práctica aquí en la pista con los N. Y como habíamos comentado por Instagram, las personas que no me siguen en Instagram, sería un buen momento porque allí son las cosas que están sucediendo en el instante, las que yo comparto. Entonces yo les hacía el comentario de que la experiencia ha sido muy buena porque ellos nos trajeron, o sea, para nosotros llegar hasta aquí, que es el Atlanta Motorsport Park, nosotros vinimos en los N-Line, que son estos que están aquí, que estamos hablando de motores 1.6 turbo con de 195 a 201 caballos de fuerza. Y entonces ahora uno dice, hasta se perdió un poquito, dice, porque la potencia de los vehículos está bastante bien. Entonces ahora nos vamos a conducir los Pure N, que estamos hablando de 276 caballos de fuerza y un montón de cosas más. Arriba nos explicaron todo, absolutamente todo lo que hay que saber sobre un Pure N, y vamos a ponerlo en el video para que ustedes no lo escuchen por mí, para que no sientan que la información está viciada, sino vamos a pasar toda esa información para que ustedes puedan escucharlo por ustedes mismos. Dicho desde la directiva de Hyundai USA, los desarrolladores de la marca, los jefes de producto y todo eso. Así que nada, con relación a la pista, nos dijeron que pudiéramos utilizar cámaras, pero que tenemos que hacer eso tan rápido que no afectáramos el convoy. Así que vamos a ver cómo lo podemos hacer. Así que estamos bien contentos. Seguimos. Miren los vehículos aquí. Ellos son los pilotos que acaban de dar la vuelta. Miren aquí. Los vehículos están verificando la presión de los neumáticos, están verificando el estado general de los vehículos antes. Cada vez que hacen este track hay que esperar unos minutos para que el sistema de frenos se refresque un rato, porque le han dado muy duro, y la temperatura del lubricante también se refresque un poquito. Entonces, fíjense aquí, le van a hacer una verificación de que todo está en perfecto estado, está todo nítido. No, it's okay, I'm okay with it. Y allí le están verificando la presión de los neumáticos. Están verificando. Todo esto preparado para que nosotros podamos dar nuestras impresiones de estos productos que son del día a día, y que también tú lo puedes llevar el fin de semana a la pista.
Like ready to go, guys. Have some fun. Again, learn the track, and then your second run will be a little bit better as you'll know the track. So here we go. Make sure to click the buttons, the N grin shift, all the N modes, and have some fun.
Okay. Vamos arriba, señores. Uno tiene la adrenalina allá arriba, Ojalá me escuchen. Yo siempre vi esta pista, pero nunca había tenido la oportunidad de estar aquí. Así que vamos arriba. Uy, qué comportamiento. Este es un motor de 2 litros turbo con 271 caballos. Qué buen comportamiento en pista tiene esto. Wow.
Also, just to reference, this track does a great job with signage. So if you look at the letter A on the apex of the corners, that sign that you see is a good apex point. So if you don't know where you're going, the A on the apex is a good reference to apexing.
Oye, ellos pusieron señalizaciones para que uno tenga mejor sensación de conducción y para que aprenda a manejar. Donde pusieron el letrerito es precisamente el punto más interno, donde yo tengo que pasarle más cerca.
Just for reference, this is the last turn here. Driver's right is the pit in. Just for reference, driver's right, pit in, eventually we'll go there. So there you go.
¡Woo! ¡Qué heavy! ¡Qué heavy! Me encanta cuando me dicen, pásala bien, viejo. Ellos lo dijeron, no íbamos a tener tiempo para ver tablero ni nada porque la pista es muy exigente. Y efectivamente la pista es muy exigente. Mi madrecita. Qué linda es la vida. Tengo que frenar porque si no me le como la nada. Miren, así es, mira, se arranca así. Yo iba así, ¿no, Candita? Sopla eso porque tú estás manejando como mi abuela. Vamos a ver. Levanta una rueda. Mira, él levanta una rueda, mira, la levanta. Estoy grabando esto desde aquí porque no puedo poner cámara afuera. Y tengo la adrenalina alta, la tengo muy alta la adrenalina, muy alta. Porque esto es muy exigente.
Guys kept me like rushing there.
Started in this job about 3 weeks to a month ago, so it's a new role for me. Previously I was within the Hyundai PR department doing corporate communications, so I'm excited to be here on the product side, get to know all of you, and work more closely with all of our products and the fun things like we do here today. We also have the rest of our product PR team here, Miles Johnson, Michelle Tinson, Lori Scholes, and Derek Joyce, who you hear from shortly. And Melvin Batista from our product planning department is also here. He'll be here in just a few minutes, but we wanted to get started so we can get to all the track activities. We also have two of our Hyundai Pro drivers here with us today, Michael Lewis and Ryan Norman. They're going to be helping out with all of the various track activities. Also going to be setting a time on the autocross that you guys can all try to beat. So they'll be here to help us as well. They're great drivers. They're super nice, a lot of fun. They can talk to you about their participation in IMSA R series with our Hyundai vehicles, and anything else you need. Just a few other housekeeping notes. There's no embargo for this event. These vehicles have all been launched already, so feel free to produce the content whenever it makes the most sense for you and your audience. We'll do a Q&A immediately following the presentation, and the presentation that we're going to go through here is also on the flash drives in front of you. So first up, we have Derek Joyce. He is our Senior Manager of Product and Advanced Powertrain PR, and he's going to talk about the N brand, some of its pillars, and go into a few more details with the cars you're going to drive.
Thanks, Michael. Well, I've got some great news. Did anybody come here to have some fun today?
Yeah.
Besides doing your work? Well, we're going to guarantee that because we have a fantastic track out here. We have fantastic N cars to drive. So hope you brought your fun hats. We're going to have a good time. We spent some time out here yesterday, and the track is perfectly suited to these vehicles. So we think it was an excellent choice, and again, we're looking forward to it. So let's talk a little bit about the N brand. Okay, first of all, what does N stand for? Well, it stands for three main things. First of all, our tech center, our performance tech center in Germany is at the Nürburgring. So it's a pretty impressive facility. A number of us have been there, and it's where a lot of our engineers do intensive N testing and development. Also, there's a similar facility at the R&D center in Namyang, Korea. Of course, a lot of our engineering experts are there as well, proving out and testing N products. And you'll also notice that the shape of this is at the Nürburgring actually. In the upper left corner, that is the carousel. It's a very famous turn at the Nürburgring. It's these large white concrete blocks. And that represents the chicane of the N. So these are three things that N stands for: Namyang, Nürburgring, and a classic chicane. So our N brand structure. Our N brand claim is never just drive. So we really want you to do more than simply drive. We want you to enjoy every second of it. And that's what this experience today, I think, should provide. Our brand values are: N is exhilarating, it's authentic, and it's accessible. And three key product pillars, we're going to hit these a few times because they're very important. We really want you to understand the N product pillars. Everyday sports car. This means you can drive the car all week, commute in it, no problem. You're comfortable. You've got all of the consumer-friendly aids that you like, and yet you can take it to the track on the weekend, no problem at all. Second is corner rascal, and I'm very confident you're going to experience this aspect in all of our N products. N products love to turn in. They love to turn in confidently, sharply, and predictably. They're very, very entertaining to drive. That's a big element of the N products. And finally, racetrack capability. And I don't want to gloss over this one quickly. This is very significant because this actually costs money. It costs money and it costs technical development time. So to make a vehicle racetrack capable, it's got to be able to handle the heat of sustained lapping. And sorry about that. And so that's very important, the racetrack capability. You're going to experience that today. These are unmodified cars. These are stock cars, okay? Yes, the brakes have been replaced, but they're not. These are stock brakes. Very impressive to be able to take this car out, drive from professional journalists all day long, have no issues, and be fully track capable, and then very comfortably drive home. For example, yesterday we were driving these vehicles. We took one of those same vehicles and drove right back to the hotel, no problem, in comfort with a nice AC system and audio. So that's a key element of the N products. So here's our N brand pyramid. At the top is motorsports. This is very common for automakers. You basically prove out your vehicles with sustained motorsports, very rigorous motorsports, and this is where you learn those engineering secrets and subtleties, and you move those down the line into the core products. Next we have our Halo models. Now some of you may be familiar with the RM19, the RM20. The RM series, Racing Midship Series, goes all the way back to 2014. So there have been a number of iterations of that. And those are, again, another level of prove out, not at the motorsports level, but at an engineering test level. Then we have our pure N products. So that's what you're going to experience today. You've got your Elantra N, your Kona N, and your Veloster N. Again, those are the big differences: full racetrack capability, sustained lapping capability. The gateway to the N products are N-line products. So these are sporty products with, in some cases, some enhanced handling, maybe an enhanced wheel package, but basically they're an entryway into the N products, a doorway to those top models. And of course, we have our base models filling out the pyramid. Here are just a few examples of our global motorsports. Of course, we've been participating in WRC Rallycross. or diversity rally, global rally for a number of years. And we also have the WTCR. We have our 24-hour of Nürburgring effort and our pure NETCR global effort. Now for the US, we have our Brian Herta Motorsport team. We've got two of our racers here with us today. You're going to ride behind them. They're going to set the pace. They're also going to set the record laps for the autocross. There's going to be a chance to interact with them, ask them questions, talk to them about whatever you want. And please take advantage of that and talk to them about their successes the last few years in motorsports. A little bit about our global N models. So our first generation, you recognize at the bottom for the US, that was the Veloster N that came in 2018. We did add a very good dual clutch transmission in 2020, and again, those are available today. Globally, we also had the i30 Fastback N, and we had the i30N, two models for Europe. Our second generation of N products include the i20N, which is a very compact N model, and again, the Kona N, which you'll experience today, also available in the US, and the Elantra N in the US. So we know you're all going to drive today and get your own experiences with the vehicle. You're going to have your own opinions, but just to show you some of the accolades, some other top outlets have already experienced with the N. It has already been launched. It's received some really good initial reviews, and we want to hear what your reviews are after this event. Some other big awards and nominations: Top Gear, Road and Track, Auto Build, all over the point here is all over the globe, N has earned recognition. So it's earned with the top journalists and reviewers in the world, earned great respect in its first few years. So we're working to build N culture. A lot of makers that create a sporty brand want to build that out with enthusiasts, and so they offer things like a track day, N Track Day. We're doing that in the US. We have an N Club that's worldwide, N Track Day in Australia as well. We had an N birthday party in Korea, which is very unique. And in the United Kingdom, we had a car meet and an owners club in Hong Kong. So we're working to build N culture throughout the globe. So let's talk a little bit about the N line. Again, N line is the doorway to N. So here are some examples of the N line products and some of their powertrain differences. There are subtleties between each model line in terms of what N line means. In the case of the Elantra N line, that powertrain is also available on the other products. The Sonata N line, that's a unique powertrain. Okay, so on that one with the 290 horsepower, that's unique to Sonata N line. We don't have a pure Sonata N at this time, but we do have the Sonata N line with that high performance engine. And the Kona N line, the 1.6T, and the Tucson N line with the 2.5 liter. And again, briefly, just covering sort of the family within the family of Elantra. You have the base model, you have the Elantra N line with the 1.6 turbo, and then the 2-liter turbo on the pure Elantra N. Again, these are in your drive, so you don't need to memorize it all right now. When you want to dig into the details, you can study this and see the differentiation throughout the lineup. Similarly, for the Kona N, you have the Kona base model, Kona N line, again with the 1.6T and the 2-liter Kona N engine. That 2-liter is common to all the N models currently, so it's really a workhorse for N. That's why we put so much development time and money into it, because we knew it would totally support the N lineup. We also do offer an Elantra HEV with 54 miles per gallon combined, and a Kona EV in these lineups with 258 miles of all-electric range. In terms of powertrain and performance, of course, we talked earlier before that motorsports builds up everything that we work on. It's where we learn our special lessons and look to apply them to our core models. We look to apply them to the street models. So again, these pillars: corner rascal, everyday sports car, racetrack capability. That's what N stands for. The key point I want to make here is look at those very specific features that apply to each pillar. So these really do fulfill these missions. For example, the N corner carving differential. That really pulls you through the corner. It will, it's a form of torque vectoring, and it will basically pull you through the corner a lot more effectively on a front drive vehicle. High performance braking system, power sense axle, very good tires, we'll get into a little bit later, and very stiff chassis. Everyday sports car, the N grin control, that's a turbo overboost function. The variable exhaust sound, which we invite you to play with. You have 3 different exhaust settings of the snap, crackle, pop that you can apply to the vehicle. Electronically controlled suspension, And one important point is these vehicles have a very high level of advanced driver assistance systems. So typically you wouldn't find that on a high-performance vehicle, but these are very well-equipped standard with high levels of ADAS. In racetrack capability, I'm going to cover some of these details in subsequent slides. Again, that workhorse 2-liter turbo engine, you see the specs, 276 horsepower, 286 under turbo overboost, that lasts for about 20 seconds. The Kona N does offer the 8-speed and dual clutch transmission that's fully track capable, fully capable of sustained lapping. It's not a cheaper version of some dual clutch transmissions are made more for eco applications. This is really a high capability transmission. That turbo engine, key point here, if you look at that graph, look at that nice flat blue line. That flat torque curve at from around 1500 to about 5000 RPM. You're going to feel that. Once you just get off throttle, you've got that nice flat torque all the way through. If you downshift on track, you're not in the perfect gear, you're still going to have good torque. So you're going to experience that. And yet it's a free revver. The car will rev very freely, and it's very responsive, but it's got that nice torque. That applies to both track and to daily driving. You can enjoy it everywhere. Transmissions, again, we had the 6-speed manual. We launched with that with the Veloster N. It was the only transmission available. Then we did add the N 8-speed wet dual clutch transmission. It's a really good transmission, very intuitive. Again, we want to hear what you think about it, but its programming is very, very good, very intuitive in terms of its operation. And both these are capable of sustained heat rejection for the track. Rev matching. So a lot of you may like the heel toe downshift. I certainly do when the pedals are ideally placed. But if you don't like to do that, or if you just want to focus on other aspects of your driving, we do have a rev matching feature. It's very accurate, and it's very quick. There are multiple settings for the rev matching, so you can set it to very aggressive. I would do that today. So that's the way it'll be set up when you jump in the vehicle. And you don't have to worry about heel toe. You can just focus on the track and have nice, perfect downshifts. Launch control. So this one is the best application for you is going to be probably in the autocross course on the DCT. So it's a little deeper in the end menu, so you may need a little guidance if you do want to use it. The technicians out there can help you with that. So this gives you a really ideal launch. Just be aware that it does create a lot of heat for the system, as all launch control systems. So if the previous driver used it, it's possible it may have to cool down for a lap before it allows you to reset. So that's not something broken with the vehicle. That's a normal heat protection system on launch control. And corner carving differential. This is super important for a powerful front driver like N. Again, it's got that torque vectoring function to pull you through the corners. There are 2 settings for the corner carving differential, aggressive and normal, and basically you can select how you like it. It's going to maximize your corner speed. It's going to help coming out of a lot of these turns, and it's going to reduce that natural tendency to understeer with a front driver. I like to call this a snap, crackle, pop, that afterburn sound. In full N mode, it's pretty strong and pretty visceral, definitely fun. Again, there are 3 settings you can choose. You can choose the very undercover, very light sound, and you can have full aggressive snap, crackle, pop to your taste. If you select the N mode, you'll get the loudest setting. N power shift. So what this is if you're under full throttle, a lot of transmissions to protect themselves and enhance durability, etc., they will reduce power temporarily for the shift. This sustains most of the power for the shift, so it gives you a nice surge feeling into the next gear. It helps with acceleration, and it's a nice push in the back feeling. And the N grid shift. This is the temporary turbo overboost function. So again, this is on the steering wheel in the bottom right corner. It's a red button, can't miss it. This probably is going to have its best application, for example, on the long straight. You don't really want to use this in the turn. First of all, you're not going to be able to use all the power, and it's not going to be smooth because it's going to come on. So you look to try this out on some of the straightaways when the car is nice and lined up. And again, it lasts 20 seconds. Just keep in mind, you can't just keep pushing it. There is a protection mechanism, so you'll have to wait about 40 seconds before the next application to apply this. But definitely try this feature. The integrated drive axle, we developed this through our experience with WRC, World Rally Championship. And what it is, basically, it stiffens up that hub assembly and also makes it lighter. And as you all know, with performance, lower unsprung weight is great. It helps everything with handling, keeping the wheel planted on the pavement. It helps acceleration, braking, every aspect of handling. You want to reduce that unsprung weight, and this helps to do it. Also makes it very stiff. So this feature has been applied to the Elantra N, being our newest product. In terms of ride and handling, you're going to notice when you get in this vehicle, even if you're driving very hard, stressing the vehicle, I challenge you to sense any chassis flex. There really isn't. The chassis is just really, really stiff. In the back, when you lift up the trunk, you'll see a bright red cross brace, again, stiffening up those rear strut towers. And you will also see under the front hood, if you were to take a look under there, you'll see a 4-point strut ring, again, stiffening up that front assembly as well. And again, a very stiff chassis gives you very precise suspension articulation. So keeps everything, the cambers, all the suspension settings, keeps them where we want them to be, and gives you great handling. One feature that I really like, which I think is really innovative, the dual compound insulator. Okay, this is in the Elantra N. So you'll notice the different colors there, the purple and the red. What they did was they said, look, most of the time when you're driving on the street, if you're just accelerating and braking, you don't need hardcore stiffness in that application. You want more daily comfort and good response, but not overly stiff. But for the lateral movement, lateral stress, they put in very stiff bushings. And so basically, you have the best of both worlds, and very good responsiveness, and yet good ride comfort and isolation. Here's that rear chassis brace that we talked about earlier. Just have it might be good for your articles to have a picture of that in the trunk area. Increased torsional rigidity by 29% of an already stiff chassis. Suspension design, one of the key aspects of our suspension is the electronically controlled suspension. This allows you to have that everyday sports car capability coupled with racetrack capability. You just don't get that without some type of innovation like this. There's 3 different settings. You got normal, sport, sport plus, and so you can select what you like. Full N mode will give you sport plus for the track. You don't need to worry about it. Everything will be maximum in that mode. And again, it allows you to have that dual character, very comfortable, versatile vehicle. For braking system, one of the cool things we do with N products for the braking, we could just hire Brembo or some other brake manufacturer, pay them a lot of money and tell them to give us great brakes. But we want to keep a great value proposition for our vehicles, a great, really attractive price point. And so we looked at our parts bin and said, hey, we've got larger brake systems that are just fine with larger rotors, et cetera, to help dissipate all that heat on the track. So we reached in that part bin, and these are genuine Hyundai brakes we just applied to a lighter weight vehicle in the N products. It basically gives you excellent performance without all that incremental cost. We simply had to tune this to each application. So more work on the tuning side, but no incremental cost. And it's a fantastic brake system. Again, it's really impressive. These are stock pads. For you to be able to drive it here comfortably, virtually no noise out of the brake system, no vibration, anything, and then take it on track all day, no issues, and then drive it home. We find that very impressive. Wheels and tires, both the Kona and Elantra N come with 19s by 8-inch wheels, very attractive and lightweight. Key thing here are the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. These are some of the best tires you can buy on the planet in terms of production vehicles applied to the Elantra N. We did give 10 more extra millimeters of cross-section for the Elantra N. And then the Kona N, we also have a very good tire, the Pirelli P0. Why did we select a different tire? That vehicle has a slightly different application. There'll be some light off-road, possibly with Kona N, slightly different targets in terms of how you're going to use the vehicle every day. And so we do have the 2 different tire applications. You'll notice subtle differences between the vehicle's handle. We have a rack-mounted motor-driven power steering system. And why do we do rack-mounted? It is a little more costly, but it's better than column-mounted in terms of steering feel. We also have a torque feedback logic, and what this does is help give us better steering feel. As you know, when you move from hydraulic to electric steering, sometimes you lose a little bit of that feel. This helps to give back a lot of that critical torque feeling when you're steering. So we don't recommend you do this on track or autocross or anything, but there is a static display, and Melvin Bautista, our product manager, will be present. If you want to take a look at all of the variations you can mess with in the N display, they're both in the center stack and in the cluster. There is a ton of things you can adjust to your liking and different appearances. So have a look at that and see all the things that the N modes offer you. Here's another example. This is from the center stack head unit. You've got throttle, oil temp. You can also put that real time while you're driving. You can see the oil temp real time on track. So you can monitor that. Your 7 suspension settings are there. You can select, you can modify each of those to your liking. You got a G-force meter, etc. So tons of things to play with in the N menus. To make that a little easier, let's say you're husband and wife and one of you likes a certain setting, the other likes a different setting. You can set these up and you can have an N1 and N2, and it's a simple toggle switch on the right. You just push that twice and you'll toggle back and forth between the settings you want. That way you don't have to reset everything every time you get in the vehicle. If you like a particular setting, you can set custom 1 or custom 2 or full N mode. And with that, I invite Melvin Bautista to talk more about the U.S. offering.
All right, thank you, Derek. All right, well, thank you, everybody. Again, it's very exciting to be here today with what we have to offer to you guys. It's going to be action-packed with a lot of action going on for you guys. What I'm going to talk about now is just all the great things that Derek just talked about. All these high-performance things that are unique to the N brand. All these new things that they've developed specifically for these N-Line and N-Line models. A lot of these things you can't see. So I'm going to talk about the things that you can see. So that's a little bit more in today's world from a customer point of view. These are the things that we feel, we want to point out and be able to highlight these things that you get this high-performance car, but we're not letting light on the convenience and the safety features and all these new technology features that we have available to offer from Hyundai. So to start off, one of the main things, the competitors for the Elantra N, we have the Civic Type R, the Subaru WRX, the Golf GTI, and then the Jetta GLI. So actually yesterday we were here and I read an article from Car and Driver. They did a comparison against it was a Civic Si, but they did it against the Jetta GLI and then the Elantra N, which we pretty much took first place. I think they were pretty much floored and very excited with what we had in the Elantra compared to the other vehicles that are in the segment. So I'll talk a little bit about the exterior. There is unique exterior styling elements. If you look at a car next to a base model or even an N-Line Elantra, a lot of it is similar. The grille, the design, all around the vehicle, but there's little elements that add to these red accents. You've got N logos in all 4 corners of the vehicle that you're able to see. You've got the big wheels and the nice red brakes. You've got the rear spoiler. You've got a lowered air diffuser. That's all looks great, but it's very functional as well. And then it tops it off with the dual large bore exhaust tip. So styling elements, it gives it a little bit uniqueness, but at the same time, it is kind of, it mixes in with the other cars, so it doesn't stand out, but it does stand out in a way for people that know what they're looking at. On the Elantra interior, you can see it's a very ergonomically set vehicle. All the important things, all the digital displays, all the controls, all the customization buttons that you have are all within reach that you can do just while you're normally driving or while you're on the track as well. So some of the interior styling elements, as I mentioned, the dual digital clusters, 10.25 inch. We have one of my favorite things in the Elantra N is the N lightweight sport bucket seats. So it's really cool at night when you walk in, the little N on the seat back lights up. And it really is just a reminder, especially at night, when you get into the vehicle, you're really getting into a vehicle that we want you to experience. You're experiencing the N. So it's kind of exciting when you see it, when you kind of unlock the car, you see it lined up from a distance, but it just gives you that feeling when you get in the car to get ready because you're going to have a blast. Aluminum alloy sport pedals, you have the N steering wheel that are logoed as well as the shift knob, and then the aluminum dorsal as well just gives it a nice little accent all around when you're getting into the vehicle. So the other things that I mentioned, the ADAS and convenience features, we wanted to make sure that along with all our other vehicles, we want to make sure that we continue to offer these as standard on the models. So Hyundai SmartSense, this is standard on all Elantras. Basically, you have our SmartSense safety suite of features here, the forward collision mitigation, lane following assist, high beam assist, blind spot collision avoidance assist. I just want to point out one of the unique features that we have at Hyundai that I don't know that any competitors have, is the blind spot avoidance assist and the rear cross traffic. It has the ability to provide brake assistance. So if you're trying to change lanes on a highway, there's a vehicle in your blind spot, the vehicle is going to automatically assist you so that you can't merge into that lane just to keep you safe. Same thing with rear cross traffic. If you're backing out of a parking spot and there's cross traffic coming, not only does it warn you like all the other competitors out there, it also has the ability to apply the brakes as well. Some convenience features. Our Hyundai digital key is available on this vehicle, so your Android smartphone could act as a key. You're able to also send those to your family or friends so that they can access your vehicle, they can operate your vehicle, you can set restrictions to what they can do. Also, there's dynamic voice recognition. Just while you're driving, you can activate a bunch of the e-tax features. And then the N performance displays, as Derek mentioned. I mean, there's so many customizable things that you could pretty much set it to how you like it. Depending on what track you're at, depending on how you're feeling that day, you could actually have your car meet up to that. Bose premium audio system, wireless charging pad, all these convenience features. I think customers expect these in vehicles, but not only that, they're getting the high performance as well. From a packaging standpoint, there's basically two ways to get the Elantra. So it starts out at right under $33,000 for the Elantra. That's with the 6-speed manual transmission. But you can see all these features here that we've already mentioned, whether that are unique to N. But there's also these other features like power sunroof, digital key, heated front seats. Those are the things that I mentioned as well. So on the DCT transmission, that's only available with the power sunroof. So just a packaging thing, and then it tops out a little bit under $35,000 for the Elantra N, fully loaded. And then as far as colors, it's offered in 5 colors. There are 2 unique colors to the Elantra N, just like the Veloster, the Performance Blue, and then we also have the Cyber Gray that's unique, and then we have the traditional white, black, and blue. So from a summary standpoint for Elantra, basically Elantra N offers high performance in a convenient 4-door vehicle. Advanced performance and multimedia technology. It really gives you more control and more personalization than ever. Very driver focused on this car. And then as I mentioned, 2 ways to get it, with a manual or DCT, and then you pick your color. So now for the first over Kona N, I'll just, the Kona N comes one way. It's right at under $35,000 where it starts. And a lot of the things that I'm going to show you here is almost identical to the Elantra N. So you'll see some of these elements that I'm talking about that make it unique. You'll see the same grille, you'll see the same logos on all 4 corners of the vehicle, the same red accents, the same size wheels, the big rear ring spoiler, and then the diffuser and the exhaust tips as well. And again, all these things look great, stand out, but they're also functional as well. For the interior, you can see slightly different from the Elantra. This is an older platform, but it still is very capable. I think you guys will be very surprised on how the Kona N performs on track. It is amazing. Same thing with interior styling elements. You can kind of see the trend that we're doing here. Big digital displays, unique seats, alloy pedals, steering wheel with N logos. But the biggest difference here, obviously, with the Kona N is you get the 60/40 rear split seats. Now, to put that in perspective, SUV functionality, right? It's practical, it's functional. You have the rear seats that go down. You have the large, fold flat area. You have a roof rack that you can mount stuff on with our crossbars. But the other unique thing is it's pretty cool. There's a nice little video online of a teaser of the Kona N that what they had was they had the N guy there. They show him racing through the track, driving through the forest at high speeds, but then he pulls over the grocery store and he walks out and he goes to the grocery. So he's able to do all that, throw everything in the trunk, get back on the road and fly back home. So there's other fun they had, he's camping there and just the family walks up to him. So it's a very interesting aspect of having this unique high-performance entry SUV. Just to summarize, a lot of this stuff is on the Elantra N. There's some unique things on here, specifically, same engine, same transmission that's shared, same differential. The Kona, just for more rigidity, they've added more weld points. Really provides, like I mentioned, a lot of personalization depending on who you are and what you like. You can do that. And then also, the safety features are standard on all of our Konas as well as the Elantra N. So just wanted to run you guys through just the packaging side from a consumer point of view to see how you can get these vehicles. A lot of times there's so many options, you don't know what you can get, it's hard to find the specific one you want. This should be easy.
What sets them apart? I mean, I know one is a sedan, the other one's a hot hatch, but what sets them apart?
Really what it comes down to is the cargo functionality. The rear seats go down and you have a much bigger cargo area to do that, and then the practicality basically of an SUV. Yeah. And I think right now we're going to open to Q&A.
Yeah, we'll do a formal Q&A.
Yeah.
We'll take all your questions.
Keep hitting that. Thank you.
All right, we'll do our best to answer your question. Yes?
Okay, Veloster. Obviously, you didn't cover much of it. So is that going to continue to be an offering here in the U.S. or what's the future?
Yeah, we're still selling the Veloster N, yes. The base Veloster model is no longer available, but the Veloster N is currently available. We will do an announcement midsummer like we always do of all of our model lineup changes. And again, all of our product news is included in that midsummer.
And there's Velosters out there to drive?
Yes, yep.
The red bracing on the Elantra N, does that affect cargo space?
If you had something like a surfboard or something you wanted to put through, you might have to angle it and such. It doesn't affect volume, but it might affect the shape of the pass-through area.
Yeah, the rear sheets fold down, so there is a hole that you can see, but yeah, the brace is right there.
Yeah, if you like to use that pass-through, you have to take a look at what you're trying to put through there to make sure it fits. So.
Before I go to Costco to get a new flat screen, I got to check out the dimensions.
Flat screen might
Just get the
a small
Kona.
one.
And just get the Kona.
Be eco-friendly and get a little one.
What's the price walk, basically, base to end, line to end?
So the Elantra N, or the Elantra, basically is a little bit under 19,000, and then it tops out at a little bit under 35,000 for the Elantra N.
Oh, okay, and end line?
N line is I don't know the top of my head of the pricing, but it's obviously in between, because there's other trims that we also offer on our normal ICE engine. There's 4 other packages that you can get. So.
I can give you a link to that.
Yeah, it's all on the media site. The pricing.
On
info
It is live, yeah, and up to date.
Elantra N to the left of the gauge cluster, there's like that circle. Is that a stylistic decision, or what is that space?
Yeah.
It's a style function, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very attractive, you think, don't you?
It caught your attention.
Are you guys able to share what model the bigger brakes came off of?
I believe it was the Sonata. I've heard Mr. Bierman mention that. So yeah, I believe it was the Sonata, and it was, again, the idea is it's a very capable system, did some tuning to it, able to provide an excellent braking system with minimal additional cost.
Yeah, the same caliper, but then the brake pads is a different material.
Yeah,
compared to this.
Unique end pads, for sure.
Okay, cool.
So that led into my question there. Is that an internal supplier or an internal job for the brakes, or was that a supplier that supplied those to your guys' spec for the pads?
All I know is they're N-spec pads. Those are unique N-spec pads. Those are our Hyundai pads. I don't know who supplied them.
Yeah. Developed in-house and tested with our group, obviously.
Yeah. If you go to a dealer, they're going to pull those and give you new pads. That's what you're going to get.
But that was something you guys developed in-house. You didn't have to supply.
Yeah, they tested and developed. Yeah, exactly like Namyang and Nürburgring. That they were testing those pads to make sure they would hold up to the track. Very good. Well, we did.
Wait, one more.
Oh,
One
one
more.
There we go.
Take us through the grin shift, exactly.
The grin
how
shift is a
that
temporary
works.
overboost function.
So it's just keeping the wastegate closed, or what?
Yeah, it allows you to get 10 extra horsepower. I would have to dig into further on how they achieve that, but it's not unique to other temporary overboost functions. It's an extra 10 horsepower, limited for 20 seconds due to heat and safety issues, and then again a recycle period of about 40 seconds to let everything cool down, and then you can reuse it. So
The torque vectoring, is it all brake-based, or is there any actual mechanical lift and slip device in either transmission?
no, it's an electronically controlled hydraulic system. So it is not just 100% brake-based. There is a power application to it.
So is there calibration differences between the 6-speed manual and the DCT that you guys have to do, or is it basically the same thing between the two transmissions?
Yeah, we'll get you in front of one of the engineers for that. Yeah, the differences between those two.
And I'll be by the display cars all day today, so if there's any questions that come up, please.
Yeah, we have all day, and we do have some experts up. When you really get technical, we can definitely get you in front of some local experts that can talk about the